100 Gecs are so back with their sophomore album after like 3 years with only half an hour of content, and we'll review today. Some of us were wondering what will this duo come up with next, and I guess this is it. Another left field hyperpop album with purposely annoying sounds that I ended up kind of liking, so yeah. Without any further explanation, let's just get into my track by track review of 10,000 Gecs. We start with the first song of this album, Dumbest Girl Alive, with some movie type intro that eventually turns to like a heavy guitar riff. Pretty theatrical, unlike 100 Gecs themselves. It eventually becomes like a classic hyperpop song, which in my opinion is pretty good intro for the record, setting the tone. If there's even a thing to set for in an unhinged record like this one, but overall it's pretty good. The second track, 757, is an extremely fast-paced track, not very fun in my opinion. It's just like a classic Gecs song which is just right and uninspired, so probably my least favorite song of this whole album. Thankfully the next tracks of this whole album will be consistently pretty good, which made me end up liking this record way more. Hollywood Baby was one of the singles that came out this year, and it's one of the most structured songs of the whole album, accompanied with this heavy guitar, almost heavy metal-like, and some smashing drums and catchy riffs. If there's any song that's probably the least weird track of the album, is probably this one, and I really like it a lot. It's on constant repeat. For Up on the Floor is definitely more of like an excessively childish and playful song about a frog, I don't know. It's mainly focused on some type of Sydney quiche type beat like her album Ed Buys Houses, with like a very upbeat guitar and immature piano. This song ends up being pretty fun overall and definitely one of my favorites. Now we jump to Doritos and Fritos, which was one of the singles as well, which was first released last year in 2022. And here is where we start to get into this like goofy side of the record, at least instrumentally. It's full of wacky video gamey sounds at first, but once it hits the pre-chorus it becomes really catchy and enjoyable. This song is still one of my favorite tracks of the whole album, which is all I expected from a song called Doritos and Fritos, and definitely my favorite pre-chorus of this whole thing. Now we jump to Billy Knows Jamie, which has more of some rock influences with like dark undertones and a pretty cool guitar riff and fast-paced vocals. Jumping into like rap territory almost, it may slightly remind me of an extremely unhinged version of Where You Been by Dinosaur Jr., but also to some classic death grips, especially something like Powers That Be or something. I have no idea if this is rock, metal, rap, left field, pop, or just hyperpop, but I have no idea, but it just definitely moves in between all those genres, and it's pretty hyper, really. $1 Million is less experimental and adventurous than the previous tracks of this whole album, where the only lyrics of the whole song are $1 million and fuck you. That's pretty much it. It feels more inside the field of electronic core and dance at first, but I think we can all agree this is just some left field hyperpop, straightforward and just really messy, and that's it. The Most Wanted Person in the US is one of the funniest tracks of the album. It's probably one of the few songs you're low-key able to like sing along. Actually, it has some like rap influences definitely, but it also has some like goofy video gamey sounds in the background as well, which has been a bit of a theme on this whole album. And this track is just pretty cool on its own. I think it works really well. The chorus is awesome, and I kind of wish this song didn't have all those like annoying instrumentals, because on itself the song is pretty awesome. We're in the second to last song of this album, I Got My Tooth Removed, and it starts with this slow-paced, depressing vocals, maybe something like Joji even, and then it quickly shifts into some celebratory math rock, similar to something like Jeff Rosenstock in his album Worry, of course with like a hyperpop twist to it, but it's really fun and diverse. At the end it comes again and shifts into more of a Joji type ballad, crying about saying goodbye to your tooth, which, well, you got removed, and it's just pretty fun, pretty cool, pretty funny. I really like it. The last thing of this album, I think, was also a single, but a single that came out like almost 2 years ago, back in 2021, I think. This one is just OG type 100 Gecs type of song, just a straightforward hyperpop with no twist outside of the very confusing style. It's pretty much what you expect from a 100 Gecs album, and it's pretty good, but really not much to it. Overall, I had a lot of fun with just half an hour of content. 10,000 Gecs definitely feels way more explorative and adventurous than their debut album, which was just the straightforward hyperpop. In here, I feel like the duo definitely explored some other genres, but they still fit them inside this left field hyperpop that we expect from them. For that reason, I'll give this album 3 stars out of 5. I would have gave them 3.5 stars, but they canceled the show in my country, so I can't be too kind. You know what? I changed my mind. While I was editing the video, posting it on YouTube, I was listening to 10,000 Gecs again. I just realized the album is just so good. So I'll give it 3.5 out of 5. I'm sorry. That's it. Anyways, that's basically it. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel. Maybe leave a like and leave a comment. And I hope we can keep in touch. Goodbye.
Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.